it's erroneous when it goes like this. A right to a fair hearing is not honored. People who have died in prison, we have had cases here of recent, that is last year in November, we're being invited. People die even before their judgments are being determined. People die even before their cases are being heard. So why justice? Justice is because that this is something we have entrusted with state to protect the people, but something has not been done. We have filed complaints, we have done all this, but there is a slogan of silence upon the demand of what the nations, the nationalists really do deserve. And it's a calling to sensitize people on peacefully that we should push out this action, we should show what we are going through, we should bear a voice. Mugabe Socrates is here, can bear witness. So what has always happened in areas of Chitoro, where there are land wrangles which do not end. These things result into mob justice. Makanga Alex can vindicate what has always happened. Those of Joram, everyone on this platform can really explain what normally goes through. So as I hand over, I would like to say that the reason why we look at justice are those primarily issues, not forgetting the fact that it has no powers within the human beings to say that we can grant justice to ourselves. That's why we are pushing for this cause, bearing the challenges at hand and the delay of the justice in our state, compounded with corruption, compounded with lack of independence of the judiciary, compounded with lack of patriotism or working ethics of judicial officers, all those kind of rationales. So I beg to submit Mr. George Kanyeyamba. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leonard. Are you done? Because I went off a little bit. Leonard, I got disconnected. Are you done with submitting? Because I went.
Yes, I'm done with submitting. Yes. I'm done with submitting. Only that the apology at hand from some colleagues is that they have been disturbed by the Zoom.
Okay.
The Zoom program.
Yes, I've been following up the points you have been mentioning, and yes, surely this is something we cannot leave out if we are patriotic when it comes to our country, Uganda. You've been mentioning about the case backlogs, many issues to do with many rights, because this justice also takes in the issue of human rights, the right to a fair hearing, the working ethics of the workers at the judiciary, the poor staffing and all that. But now, these issues, because we cannot discuss them in one day, since this is our first session, I know we are going to start talking about these issues specifically. For example, these civil matters could be separated, the case backlogs could also be separated and talked about independently. And I understand that people who have joined here at least have an experience when it comes to do with the justice system in the country, or you have issues to do with the justice, things which related to the justice, or you have faced a case to do with maybe you need justice. For John Mugabe Socrates, personally, I've been on ground when he was trying to, not once, because in Entebbe, I don't know why, because there are many land issues in Entebbe, and you find the rich people are actually entering the land and they are trying to buy a lot of land, and at the end of the day, you find that there is double selling of land and people don't have the proper documentation when it comes to property rights. And to have economic prosperity in a country, we need to first have the justice on land. We need to first have the justice on these properties. This is not going to be a one-man show. We shall get chance to hear from both the sides, to hear from our participants who have joined this discussion and give us their experience. However, before we go to that, Ronald, what do you think should be done? What do you think should be done to solve all these issues that you have been mentioning about in your own experience?
Is the question going to me, Mr. George?
Ronald, what do you think should be done? Because all these issues are happening. Yes.
Yeah, yes, please. I in my way is that first and foremost we go to the policies, and the policies I would suggest in a minimum time is that we should have what they call translating these laws, so the primary laws which are common to local languages. If Uganda has gotten 55 tribes, we may do them justice by interpreting the constitution to those several languages, or granting such an authority that they are interpreting people. And when it comes to issues of case backlog, I will look at, you see, like Mukono High Court has gotten 6,000 cases to be handled. That's why of this their position, there are 2 High Court judges. That's Mukono High Court. When you look at the Court of Appeal, like I said, we have 15 judges. Now, curbing the situation from the earlier years, and the 2019 COVID issues, I would propose that they can appoint interim judges to first handle the case backlog. Then, when it heads to the issue of corruption and lack of patriotism, there should be a policy or an action taken that when judges misbehave with people's cases, they can be fired from their jobs. If you notice, only since 2005, when we have noticed a High Court judge being fired from their position, the biggest punishment nowadays done against them when they misfire or they fail to go hand in hand with the judicial conduct, they are just transferred. You are transferred from Lira High Court to Masindi High Court. No one, so they feel they enjoy the privilege. The judge doesn't care regardless you appeal against him. He doesn't care how many times you spare in prison. He doesn't care how many times you lose your property. They don't care. So in the interim, I also look at that. Then there's a solution that I can suggest. It is for us jointly as masses, or as joining together, putting on pressure peacefully, joining up and sharing posts and saying, no, we are tired of this. We are tired of this in this area. When it is corrective on a peaceful note, joining and filing petitions and complaints wherever we are, as people doing it in their areas, we can have the issue of justice brought to reality. And moderate mobilization about the people standing up for this, it can help to curb down the issue of injustice. Of course, we cannot realize it on a zero terms, but we can at least curb down the climax, reducing it to at least 5%, because now we realize that injustice in Uganda is to a level of 85%. Only prisons are trying to honor the rule of law, but when it comes to our judicial system, it has failed to about 85%. It only establishes 15% of its efforts. So that's what I can say. Thank you. Yes, I see our host is not getting on. Makanga Alex's hand is up. Maybe Alex, you can submit, sir.
I thank you, first of all, comrades who are present in this evening's session. I hope you all get me very well. First of all, as they say, we are on the issue of justice, and I want to thank our comrade, Council Katusha Ronald, for this noble cause. First of all, for many people, justice is understood in different ways, though to the main primary understanding of justice is the reference to fairness. In case we most time think where there is fairness, there is justice. For the case of many Ugandans who have been denied justice, me, I was a victim, I'm a witness to many people whose justice has been denied or delayed. And as we say, or they say, justice delayed.
You will still hear me. I think I have a network issue. I'm on and off. But I had your point, Katushabi, when you mentioned about the interpretation of this constitution, which is the supreme law that we have in the country. When I was trying to research about justice some years back, I actually realized that this constitution guarantees power or responsibilities to the government to make sure that, this is Article 1, the people are aware about the laws, and there is a constitution when you look at chapter 1 of the constitution, and it is the first page that makes sure that the constitution is translated in these local languages. But we've not had people understand the law in their own local language, assume that they understand language, but it's a responsibility of government. I want to invite other individuals, because it will not be a one-man show, and I know that the issue of justice affects all of us. I can see a hand. Ronald, your hand is up. Do you want to say anything before I invite Makanga Alex? Okay, Alex, I saw you typed Alex is off again. Okay, let me invite John Mugabe Socrates. I've always followed your work, and sometime I was there and recording the issues to do with justice in Entebbe, because this is a growing city. This is the airport city. People are killing themselves. People are using property or land rights. What do you say about this issue? What do you make of this?
Yeah, thank you very much,
John.
Joe. Yeah, thank you very much. I don't know if you're able to hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Please go on.
Yeah, thank you very much for this great talk we are having today, an arrangement. I would like to thank all of you, and also Moso Katushabi, who has given us who has shaded the justice system and also the backlog which has caused justice to be delayed. I would be the testimony or someone to attest to this, that the legal system or the judicial system, it's really overweighed by the number of cases in relation to the judges or to the magistrates who should be there to handle these cases. I don't know, Mr. Katushabe, you will inform me or educate me on this. I don't know the ratio of criminal cases, the average ratio of criminal cases to the judge. I don't know how it is here in Uganda. I've not yet taken interest to find out, but I think according to our local court, we have this pendency of logs, of backlogs in Entebbe, which has affected the work, which has delayed justice and which has also made the rule of law very, very, very expensive. I would like to give you an example. I've spent a year in court trying to seek justice for the orphans and the widows whose land was expropriated, whose land was taken away, whose land, who were displaced. But what I've found out from the two sides is that to pursue the line of justice and rule of law in Uganda, it's as expensive as anyone can imagine. It takes time, it consumes money, it also tortures you psychologically. I will give you a case which we are handling here. It's a civil case where we are handling, which is our local leaders versus the state. We started, I think, a year back to pursue this case after the local council to court had finished to give its decision, had finished to give its judgment on the case. But then we have been frequenting the court for more than 25 times. And guess what? Today, which was after 6 postponement, after 6 adjournment, that it will be coming after 2 to 2 months. Today, when we went to the court in the morning, we waited from 8 and up to around midday, the magistrate came, and then or the judge came, and what she did was like, you people, I have a lot of cases. After sitting in the court, hearing other cases, she said that you people, what I should do, give me the lawyers from the two sides, give me your email. I'm going to be able to send my ruling today. And guess what? The ruling was promised before 5. And we've been waiting for the ruling today, and I've tried to call the lawyer from our side. And what we found out, the lawyer was telling me, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. But she told us that the cases were so many. So for you, your case will be sent, the ruling will be sent through the email. And I was wondering, but up to now, we've not yet got that email. So what is the problem? As advocates, as libertarians who advocate for the rule of law, we must also look into this lacuna, which is making rule of law impractical, or which is affecting the rule of law. And then when it affects the rule of law, people try to look for alternative means. And the alternative means now is that the justice system is going to be spiraled with a lot of corruption, tenders, and bribery. Because if through pursuing justice, we have waited for 1 year, but we have also spent on the lawyer coming every time, I think spread this time in the year, coming over 15 times. And each time this lawyer comes, you spend $1 million, you spend $1 million. And then the land which was sold illegally, you find that it is costing, it was 19 million. The land is costing 19 million, which was sold. And the side which is defending itself is spending more than $1 million every time the lawyer comes. So imagine they have spent for 15 times. If they are spending on average 1 million, 1.5 million, you find that they are going to kick almost 30 million, which is more than the property which is being claimed. And then if you apply logic in this law, it would be better for these people to use logic and say, okay, instead of going to court to waste time, let us pay you this amount of money, or let us pay back the money to the person who purchased the land, and then we leave this. But we couldn't see, and even them wanted to respect the rule of law. Another thing is this, why corruption is going to be more, because of this kind of delayed justice, or this heavy weight of cases in the justice system. Because you come at the court, and after two times, then you feel like, no, what can I do? Which other alternative routes can I look for? And then you end up looking for these court clerks, for the askaris and the security men of this magistrate. And then they say, like, if you want this to be speeded up, do like this, spend this and that. And you find people who are trying to spend and buy this case at the early stage, saving almost 75% of what they should spend. So if the justice system has made bribery and corruption more cheaper than pursuing justice, then we are going to have corruption as the mean, because human beings in their own mind, they were created selfishly and they don't want to lose more than what is worthy. So corruption will become an incentive and it will be praised. At the end of the day, justice will be given to those who are very fast at bribe and those who have money. So I think this is a very, very, very timely discussion on the justice system in Uganda. Thank you very much.
Wow. So you said that if the justice system makes corruption more cheaper than achieving justice, then that means individuals will resort to corruption as a faster remedy to justice. So instead of, going to justice, they will rather go to, corruption. I have an example of that. I've been the only journalist, the only freelancer journalist who has been following up the case of Professor Justice George Wilson Kanyihamba. But if the issue of land grabbing or injustices can reach at that level, that even high-profile individuals, is a man who has been the Justice of Supreme Court, but now retired, but still suffering injustices. Many people have been commenting that if you, who knows the laws, most people, we call him the dictionary of laws, the encyclopedia of laws. He has written much to do with land law, commercial law. He has books. He has been part of people who formulated the 1995 Constitution, but still he suffers issues to do with justice. I remember the last time when I was recording his land in, he has land languages in Dewe, Entebbe, with the former mayor of Entebbe municipality, who is it Mbazila? So this man, he has a lease because he's a foreigner from, I think, Eritrea. And according to Professor George Wilson, he's not supposed to build or to have buildings without consenting from the landlord. But this man went on after hearing the grant. This old man is sick, so he thought the man is going to die. He ended up setting up buildings. But according to the professor, that he says that he doesn't need to go to court, but he needs to break these buildings. And he was trying to teach us, or to teach the entire community that the law of self-help really exists. He gave an example. if you find a man maybe having sex with your wife at home, you don't need to go and call the police, but rather you carry out the self-help model, which is under the law. You defending yourself. Because these proprietors were like, go to court and then court decide. So my worry is that if the issues to do with justice, then that means we as, people who are concerned should wake up, because if even high profile people, last time in foreign since its inception, and last week we're at the anti-corruption unit of the State House. And still, these individuals, the chairperson and the other legal boards, the lawyers of the unit, they are also saying we are still making research and investigations. But you realize that only research or investigation can take 10 years. This is what Katushaba has been mentioning about, that as investigations go on, they can rape someone at the age of 6 or 7, and after 20 years, that person hasn't yet received justice. The person dies before even receiving justice. We've seen high-profile cases where they are shooting, army officials, those of Kawes, but still now investigations are still going on. So I really believe that the issue to do with justice, most people look at they look at this matter as something which is not so important to them, but as Ronald mentioned, that this is really so important. Now, Ronald, do you think the issue to do with is, the case backlogs? Do we need to add on staff when it comes to judicially, or that one is just like adding water, adding salt into water? Because we need to be convinced as taxpayers, even before adding staff, are the available staff doing the necessary to make sure what John has mentioned about doesn't happen? Corruption is made cheaper than achieving justice. Ronald, can you clarify on that or elaborate?
Okay, thank you so much. Of course, starting with what Comrade Mugabe Socrates articulated when he questioned me that maybe what could be the ratio. I can state that the ratio of judges to criminal cases is 1 to 9, meaning that we have a percent of 1 judges to meet the 90% of the case backlog. And like he said, it hampers on corruption, of course, not only corruption, but unprecedented corruption. And to me, I'd feel it would reduce the case backlog when appointments are done. 2, there's a solution on that, on stakeholders, would be that if these people, there is no serious evidence, sufficient evidence, they should stop saying that let us have you in prison. They can have your documents attained that can limit you to move beyond borders of Uganda, but make sure investigations are ongoing. When they feel investigations are complete and the case can lead to your conviction, then they have you inside. But not just meandering over when they are not sure what results will come out. Because even when it comes to compensation, it's hard. When it comes, there is a right to apply for that money of bail being granted to you. They still don't implement it. But maybe I may be going overdue. I'd like to say there is Council Nakayenga Patricia, whom I have observed this within, and maybe she can submit more about that. Thank you so much.
Well, that would be amazing to hear from Council Patricia Nakayenga, because Sometimes I've been at High Court and I see how the system works, and I say, surely if we are looking for justice, that's why we find that individuals resort to these shorter means, as John mentioned about, that people rather resort to this, because if I have a short case, I even have another example. I had a case at the magistrate's court in Matuga, and this case, I wanted us to go on with the case, but when I met the magistrate, is it grade 1, and he asked us, both the parties, do you guys want to proceed with this case? Because you have to first talk before you even go into the entire process. I said, yes, I do. But even this magistrate himself advised me that he will not like the whole process. This is a small case which is going to involve involving about a property of 3 million, but it is going to take about 7 or 10 years, just something small of a motorcycle case. So that means if people have cases which are bigger than that, they can take years. That is delayed justice. And I want surety if we are mentioning about increase in the number of judges will actually solve the problem. Let's hear from the council went off, by the way. Nakayenga, she went off, but as we are finalizing, because I know time is going to reach when we are inviting the judges to speak on these sessions. We are inviting the clerks. When we are inviting the magistrate grade 1, all these people are directly involved in the justice system, because we may view this in our own perspective, in our own angle, but also we need to hear from them. But I know we may not discuss all these things in one day, but we are going to go chronologically, issue per issue, and we see how best can we be able to become the justice advocate, because life also depends on how justice is happening in the country. As we are finalizing this, do we have anyone with a question? Anyone with a submission, a question, before we finalize this? Please raise up your hand, or you can type in we have we are live on the Justice Media page of YouTube channel, and we know that I see people are actually interested in on matters to do with justice. They are already following up, and they have over 100 people have been viewing this. So I think we are good to go, and it's a good start. John, you had raised the hand. I don't know if you wanted to submit. Let me read through the chat box. Makanga Alex, please go on.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Just a small question. I think it will also be in line for some of the lawyers we have here. In Entebbe, we have now a crisis in as far as property rights is concerned. We have an area land committee, which is instituted by a sub-county. It has expired, but now after its expiration or its expiry, there have been a scuffle in getting a new one, electing a new one, or putting a new one in place, because politics has now mixed with it, and it's expired, but still it's doing the work and the duties which it should do to confer or to facilitate, to advise people who are going to convert their land from one system to the land titling system, or to get a land title. So I would like the legal brains here to help me, because we are going to petition next week. I would like you to help me with what should I do, and also what does it mean when the area land committee expires, but it still does the work. Won't that one affect the people who have got the land, who have got the land titles within this time frame where it had expired? And if it is found out that the people got the land title with this committee, what will happen? So I just want you to guide me, and then I will also be able to get your advice and help in petitioning the sub-count, and then we can in future log in the case. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hope I kick on that point, because you're talking about the area land committee having their tenancy having come to an end, but they proceeded because they have not yet appointed the current area land committee. What I can say is the problem is not down, because what I have noticed, like the council I work with, Council Kumbugabak Richard, he was appointed a chairman land board, that's Kaliro district. Now, the system itself they are going through is that of recent, they have just been vetting people presenting in the applications. That was last December. So the process itself is delaying. So the challenge is that when you petition, these people can raise a defense of what is ongoing. Maybe if it is to petition against the Ministry of Lands, how it delays its process, that would be the issue at hand. Because like you're saying, the challenges would be that if someone had handled a land matter or a process of registration, say we are looking at conversion of freehold to leasehold, leasehold to freehold, that tenure system. And you find that maybe a process had stopped in the middle and the other people come in. Now, doing the surveys and searches where they might complement that they have gone through charges, maybe they also have issues of funds, where it may result to a delay or turning out the entire process, and it is where issues of fraud to issues of land may arise, such challenges. So it can be in support of petitioning against the Attorney General and the Ministry of Lands itself, because it is it which has delayed the process. Because these people cannot appoint down, yet even up, they have failed to appoint other people to take upon the district land board committees, what and what, all those kind of issues. So look at the support of the petition to challenge the Ministry of Lands and the Attorney General always delaying the process, and we look at the results or how the negative issues come in. Thank you. That's what I can say. Hope Mugabe, you have heard me.
Yeah, thank you, Katshabe. Yeah, for this one, which is, I think we shall try to share the mind to see how best we can do that. But because the area land committee is appointed by the area land committee is appointed here by the chairperson of the sub-county. He appoints people from within the sub-county. But now the challenge is that at the district level, legally they have caught him because he wanted to appoint some of the friends and the people he believes that they will perform according to his understanding. But one of them is not a resident and is not a bona fide resident in the area. And the local act, which I've not read there, people who have interpreted it as saying that it does not allow anyone who is not a resident a bona fide resident of the area to
True.
be on the committee.
Mm.
So there is that at the district, but it has delayed now for over 1 year, and people are still processing their land title under this illegal committee.
Mm. Yeah, so if that is the challenge now, because you see that it doesn't result from the top, then you can petition in respect of challenging this down. There we can be good to go. However, the issue all over the nation is that everywhere, because they have been vetting, and these people have, is it somewhere, some have not sweared in, some are trying to swear in, so all that issues. And the requirement is, because I notice if you are in Kaliro, those are Basogas, Ginger, you have to appoint people who are natives of that area to be part of the area land committee, to be part of the district land committee, let it be the secretary or these other 4 members the chairperson works with. So like you've said, that one could seriously affect this, but when you bring it into the line of justice to these other people, I hope the petition can succeed regardless of the system. And it can help on to push on the quick appointment.
The petition will even wake up these people.
New as a leader. Yeah, the purpose of it primarily is to wake up these people to do a quick appointment or handle the challenge at hand.
Yeah.
In a swift time. So I see the petition cutting across and setting a remedy to the challenge.
Yeah. So you.
Thank you.
We shall find a way how to do it as early as possible, and then we log in, and even we call the press conference.
Yeah. Because what I have noted with our state also is that they operate so much on pressure.
Mm.
Yeah, you do the other paperwork, but still insert pressure. As these things appear in the media, they work upon them quickly. They're like, what is this ongoing?
Yeah.
But if you keep quiet, you only find even documents, they'll just look at them. They tell you we have more documents than this. So when the press is being held, they say in a month, you have 3 press conferences on the same cause and filing documents showing up what you've done. They feel the pressure from the top. And also filing another one on top in the ministry everywhere. That's how to do with our state if we are to attain justice with our people.
Okay, we shall handle that.
Okay, thank you, comrade. I don't know whether Joram has anything to say. Okay. Thank you so much, comrades. I know we are everyone, regardless of the objection and obstruction from the Zoom links to some people, and we take the honors